Hello everyone, it's Tori here with Fox and Hazel, and today I am doing a blog hop with StencilGirl and Lindy's Stamp Gang. If you're not familiar with Lindy's Stamp Gang, they sell these really cool products, and they're all dye-based powders, and they make sprays and powders which are called their magicals, which I have here, and embossing powders. And they're really cool because their products aren't just like one flat color. They have lots of different colors and shimmers and micas, and they're amazing. And so I'm showing you a really cool new way to use them. Normally, so the background of this spread that I'm doing here in my art journal is how you would normally use them. And so they're water activated. So you would spray the page and then shake the magicals powder over top of it, and it would activate with the water. And so the color I've used there is the Unported pink. And yeah, and then once it dries, it's pretty permanent and it's awesome. It's like super, super vivid. But today what I'm showing you is that you can also mix these magicals, because they're a pigment. You can mix them with other mediums, and I'm mixing them here with gloss gel medium so that I can put them through a stencil. And so the one I've grabbed here, I believe is teal. I cannot quite remember what it was. Oh, shabby turbine teal, sorry. I knew it was on the tip of my tongue. And so you don't really need a lot, these pigments, because they're powder pigments. They're very, very concentrated, so you really don't need very much. I've used like maybe not even an eighth of a teaspoon there, even if that. And so as you can see, it's like and it actually darkens up the more it sits, because you know the pigment gets a more chance to sort of melt, dissolve is the technical term, and you can still see the different flecks of color in there. Because all these pigment powders are really neat is that they're not flat, they're not one tone, they have different colors in them, just like that background there. It's Unported pink, but it also had oranges and yellows in it, which is really cool because it's pink, but also with some variation. And so all of their shimmers and their embossing powders even are two-toned. They, you know, have a solid base for wet embossing with a shimmer to it. So I have a really cool one. I think it's called Midnight Gold, and it's a black embossing powder with a gold shimmer sheen to it. Like, it's super cool. So I've grabbed a stencil here out of my stencil collection, and this one is Speckles and Spots by Carolyn Dubé. And I was going to go put my gel medium through it, and then I realized I wanted to mix all my colors together first before I went about that. So I've grabbed a bit more of the gel gloss medium, and now I'm using this is one of their, so they have their magicals in sets where they come in the little pots, or they have their shakers, which are individual colors. And so this one is the Black Forest Black Magic, which I'm obsessed with because it's black, like so incredibly black, but it also has reds in it and a little bit of blues, and it's beautiful. I've used it on a few different things now, and it's probably hands down my favorite one out of all of them. And so the last one I'm going to mix up, I believe, is Rusty Lantern Lime. And so this one's like a very cool kind of sort of like a chartreuse with more yellow in it. So it's true to the name. And as you'll see when I mix it up, it actually has a bunch of different variations in it too. And it's kind of a bit more like I think it's oranges and greens in there. It's really beautiful. Sorry, this part's not very interesting, watching me endlessly mixing things. I mean, it's kind of satisfying, I guess. I like watching those paint mixing videos. Oh, has anyone ever seen those on Instagram? There's that one woman, oh, what's her name? I'll have to link to her. Anyways, she mixes, like her entire Instagram has like almost 1 million followers, and all she does is mix paint. And it's like so satisfying. It's part of that ASMR thing that's going around, and it's super, anyways, that's my jam. So maybe this is interesting to people who like that too. So now that I've got everything mixed, I'm going to push it through my stencil. And I tried to not actually mix this one too much, this Rusty Lantern Lime, because as you can see, there's like a ton of different flecks of color in there, and I wanted to try and maintain that as best I can. That is the thing, if you do use these, the more you mix them, you'll lose the different variation in pigment in there, just obviously because you're mixing it together, you're going to emulsify it. And so I'm just pushing it through my stencil as precisely as I can. I'm actually not very good at stencils. Well, I am, but how should I say? I'm very good at like dabbing with stencils, but I'm not very good at pushing stuff through my stencils. I'm forever getting smushed bits through and stuff. So I'm trying to go delicately and slowly as I can. This is sped up, so I was going even slower than this. And so as you can see, that that shabby turbine teal that's been sitting for a bit, you can see how much more it's darkened. And the Black Forest Black Magic will darken quite a bit too. So yeah, and even too, when you use these on your paper, if you were just to spray water, they actually, the longer you let them sit, the better. Like I find that if I try to rush through them, I don't really give a chance to the pigment to sort of dissolve fully and kind of like spread around the page. The best ones I've had is ones that I just like spray it and then walk away. Spray some water, shake some magicals on there, and get the heck out of there and just leave it alone. Or if I'll spray water first, use the magicals, and then spray some more water, and then call it good and just like leave it, let it do its thing. It's much more organic than other materials in that sense, that you can't really control it too much, and you kind of, the best results I find are ones that kind of just like let it do its thing. And so all of these right now look quite opaque because the gloss gel medium is white, but it dries clear. So all of these, circles and spots that I'm stenciling on, once they dry, they'll actually be darker and they'll actually be translucent, which is super cool in my opinion. And so yeah, I think I'm just trying to get every last little bit out of there because I don't want any to go to waste. I hate wasting paint on my palettes and stuff, and I'm forever putting like a tiny amount and then using it and then putting a little bit more, which if you watch my videos, you've seen me do that. I hate wasting paint or mediums. So now that I've put it all through, I've lifted it off and ta-da. And so you can use a heat gun with this if you wanted to, sorry. Or you can do what I did, which is I left it overnight to dry. So you'll notice my shirt is a little different, and I apologize that I left a brand name cup in the corner. I didn't realize that until after I had filmed it, so I apologize. But anyway, so you can see now on those circles and dots that I had stenciled there that they've dried translucent and quite deep. And so now what I'm using is I'm just going back in with these magicals, and you can use them like watercolors too. You don't have to just spray them. So I've dumped a little bit of the magicals powder on my palette, and I'm mixing it with a little bit of water. And this one is the Steampunk sepia, and I'm just going to use it. Oh, and I'm adding a little bit of steel shimmer. And so all of those little pots that I had, they come in a set. You don't buy them individually. These are a set, and this is the industrial chic set. And so it comes with five different powders, if you will. And so now I'm just using that I mixed my own shade of the two together just to paint around on my page. And yeah, like I'm not going to go through this entire art journal page from start to finish because I didn't really want to do an entire art journal page in this video. I mostly just wanted to show you guys kind of like how fun these magicals are, and I wanted to show you a way to use them with a stencil. I tried a few different methods, and I found this was the one that I liked the most. And I realized too that my little pots, there are little bowls that I had mixed my mediums in. I thought afterwards I was peeling it off like you would peel paint, but they're translucent. And I thought, oh my gosh, what if you use like a piece of acetate and, mixed it with some magicals and then smeared it across the acetate, let it dry, and then peeled it off, and then you could use it and like cut shapes out of it. How cool would that be? Now that's in the back of my mind. I got to try that. And so I'm just working around on this page. I'm just playing around with these magicals. So what I did was up in the corner there, I had painted some of the magicals on there with water. And so I'm just really making sure the page is wet. And then I'm going to sprinkle a little bit more of the powders on there just to add some interest and texture and that good stuff. If I really wanted to make that bleed more or spread, I would have sprayed it with some, I think I do. I think I flick it with some water from my paintbrush. I do. As you can see, then it kind of like activates it. So because these are pigment dye-based powders, they will stain everything. So I recommend that you're very mindful of using these. I luckily didn't get them on anything, but they definitely stained my fingertips in another project. I mean, like, who cares? Because my hands are always covered in paint, but just be mindful of it. So I was trying to not get it on my beautiful white desktop there. And I also was trying to be mindful to not get it on my clothes because I usually get paint all over my clothes when I paint. And so, which is cool. Like, I kind of thought, like, I don't know, like there's so many possibilities in the fact that they're like powdered dye-based pigments. I thought, well, what if you could dye fabric with them? I mean, like, you wouldn't want to dye a lot, but like, what if you dyed like a section of like cotton rope or like some fabric to make ribbon for something. I don't know, I think that'd be kind of cool. I'm here narrating and coming up with all these new ideas. So yes, but yeah, like I said, because they're pigment based ones, they're dye based, sorry, just be mindful of them, that you don't ruin your favorite top with them or anything. So yeah, you can see here that sort of, I just kind of painted around. I just wanted to see you guys use it in a couple different ways, but I mostly just wanted to share these really beautiful gloss gel mediums mixed with the magicals. They're super translucent. So I'm going to show you guys a couple close-ups, and then I'm going to show you the page that I finished once it's done. And so yeah, thanks so much for watching, you guys. And if you want to stay up to date with all my videos, make sure you hit subscribe, and you can follow me over on Instagram where I'm Fox and Hazel over there. Thanks so much, guys. Bye.